Hey everyone, welcome to me,
you,
and Doctor Who. Welcome to, I think, episode 3 of this podcast.
Of us.
Of us, and you, and Doctor Who. Today we're gonna watch episode 2. It's the third episode, but we're watching episode 2 of Doctor Who, which is, I don't remember the name of it. Why don't I remember the name of it? Oh my god. Oh, it's called Doctor Who: The End of the World. How could I have forgotten that? We just rewatched the bumper from the episode 1, and I'm at least gonna let Hailey take the floor because she's the one who has to theorize. What do you think's gonna happen in this episode?
Well, obviously we're going to the year 5 billion, and it's gonna be the end of the world. And I'm guessing this has to do with the whole thing about how the sun is going to explode in however many million years. I don't know the exact number.
It's crazy that's what takes us out.
Yeah.
I figured we'd be dead by then.
Me too. I guess because I don't know if they're counting other creatures that are on Earth. But, because the Cassandra is the last human, right?
Yeah, I don't think they say that in the promo, but I think you just know that just because of cultural osmosis. I'm not sure. I know we watched it like 30 seconds ago, but I don't remember if they said Cassandra was the last human. But that is her whole deal, is that she's the last pure human or whatever.
And it looks like all these different aliens and creatures and Masked Singer characters are going to be gathering.
We've got guests from the Masked Singer with their costumes. We've got that one blue guy from Star Wars who bangs on his flute. We've got a whole cast of characters to get to know and hopefully not get too attached to. And I am excited to get into it. I think from what I remember of this episode, this was the more iconic episode I remember, just for the characters and the plot. I definitely watched the first season at least once all the way through. And this one sticks in my head a bit more than episode 1. I do think I'm probably gonna record post-record trigger warnings and stuff and add it to right before we start the episode or whatever.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there's a character who dies in this. If people aren't a fan of death, maybe, I don't know if Doctor Who is the show for you. I think side characters die all the time. But I think if you're cool with it, pretty sure there's a character who dies, but I know which one, but I shan't say.
I'm also assuming that all of these creatures are coming together to decide whether or not they should save the world or just let it burn. And I'm guessing Rose is gonna be no, you should save the humans because...
What the hell?
Because they make chocolate and other wonderful things, and that's why we're beautiful.
We've got wondrous things to add to the universe.
And we don't cause pollution or kill each other.
We don't have one guy who keeps inventing things, and he's like a freak, and his name does not rhyme with Felon Cusk. But yeah, I guess other than that... And I guess we should just watch the episode then and see what happens.
Pretty much covers my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. I don't think I have anything else to say. But yeah, let's get into it.
We'll see you there.
Trigger warnings for this episode include character death and minor gore. Hello everyone, welcome back.
Hi.
We just finished watching what was it called? The End of the World?
The End of the World, I believe.
Well, I was looking up the wiki page for it just to get some info on it. I actually put in the End of the Universe, and then it gave me the wiki link to the Doctor Who, the canon End of the Universe date, and I was like, well, I don't need to see that. Besides, I already know about that. They actually covered that in a future episode. I shan't say when, or lest you be spoiled.
I would say I would flush it out of my memory, but unfortunately I can't.
Yeah.
I hold on to everything forever.
Oh yes, spoilers, the end of the universe happens.
No!
But it's a time travel show, so I think we'll be good.
Okay, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll survive.
But yeah, Hailey, how did you enjoy that?
I like this one. I liked it a little bit better than the last one. Uh, I'm gonna say.
I think it's a bit more iconic.
Yeah, I was gonna say as I'm getting older, as if I'm like 45. But as I'm getting older, I have found that I tend to not be super crazy about first episodes of shows, even ones that are like I think the pilot of this was good, but I have found that even with good pilots, I tend to like shows these days the more they go on. And I'm already finding that that's the case because I loved seeing all these different creatures and aliens, and I liked seeing them all interact with each other. It was a very fun episode.
Oh yeah, I think that was like one of the best parts. Is like
Oh, for sure.
Like, all the character interactions were really funny and good, and I'm and I know you brought it up while we were watching, but all the like Futurama-esque jokes, especially when it came to like the music, like I remembered the toxic part with Britney Spears. I completely forgot about Tainted Love.
I'm surprised. I know you love that song.
I do love that song. It's a great song. I remembered that part of. I didn't want to say too much as not to spoil you.
Right, right. You know it's a cover, actually.
Yeah. It is?
Yeah, Tainted Love, that version of it, I believe, is a cover of a much older song.
Oh, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I can imagine it now, like with like 50s-esque like drum beat or something. So the main death I remembered from this episode was Jabe the tree lady. There are multiple deaths in this episode that
this was a bloodbath.
Yeah, I completely forgot about, and no wonder Nine was like so angry by the end. Like, man, that skin lady killed a lot of people.
Yeah, this was a massacre.
I think this spurred on a lot of thoughts from us while we were watching. I think we had an idea. I think while we were watching that, like, I think if we have like guests on the pod or when we need to like ask people questions, we could probably ask them like, you know, if you had a TARDIS, where would you go to? Because that's sort of how the episode opens up. Is Nine telling Rose like, hey, where do you want to go?
Yeah, which I like. I like that he gave her that choice instead of like bossing her around from the get-go.
Yeah. You know what? We should answer that question right now, Hailey. If you you know, if you were in a TARDIS and a doctor said, hey, Hailey, where do you want to go? Where would you go?
Oh, that's a very good question. My first inclination is to say the past, like, I don't know, I've been studying medieval Europe a lot recently in the Renaissance for a project that I'm working on, and it would be really cool to see some of that stuff in person.
Ooh. Oh, and, yeah, definitely. Especially with like so much like limited like documentation we have on like things. Like we just have the documentation of people who could like write in that time, basically. It'd be really cool to see like the full picture.
I always thought it would be cool to see like a very iconic like movie or musical or something on the day that it premiered. Like seeing The Wizard of Oz in theaters the day that it came out, I always thought would be really cool.
Theater. Oh yeah, stage theaters. I was like, the movie hasn't even come out yet as we speak.
Well, I said The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah. Oh, why did I think you're talking about Wicked?
I'd love to see Wicked when it came out, though.
Yeah, that would have been fun too. Oh yeah, but I think if I had the choice, a part of me does want to see the future a little bit, but there's a much stronger part of me that has this inclination to like go to the past to like figure out the answers to unsolved mysteries.
Seeing like the beginning of the universe would be crazy.
Yeah, what if I almost said the F word. What a trip to take like your companion on like the first go around is like the death of her home planet.
Yeah.
Like
and he's like, what? Why so sad?
like she said, I want to go to the future. And he went, okay, how about like 10,000 years in the future, the new Roman Empire? And she's like, oh, I think you could do better than that. And he was like, okay, how about the heat death of Earth? It's like 0 to 100. But so this episode is written by Russell T Davies again, directed by someone named Euros Lynn. I don't know who that is. But this episode, yeah, basically starts up as like the doctor, you know, telling Rose, where do you want to go? And they go to the end of the world, the end of Earth. Luckily there's no humans on the planet at this point. We're not witnessing the genocide of an entire race of people because they've kind of all skedaddled out of there a long time ago. Uh, and by a long time ago, in the sense of like, apparently there are no pure humans
Yeah,
anymore.
quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote, which is a very weird. It's said by Cassandra, who claims herself to be the last pure human, which is a very like what's the word? Like like a eugenic way of putting it. I feel
Yeah.
like a very weird thing to say. Um I think the episode opens like I remember well the first one of the first notes I have written down is that like I think when Rose and Nine are like I keep saying Nine, I should just say the Doctor. Spoilers, the Doctor regenerates into multiple other Doctors. Uh but the Doctor is basically like, you know, we're gonna go hang out with some people, and she was like, do you I can't remember how this gets brought up, but basically they get brought up how she's like, are there people here? And he's like, it depends on how you define people. And then
People.
and then she was like, you know, people. And then he's like, kinda. If you consider aliens people. I'm like, I think if they're like an intelligent species who can like talk and speak on their own, then like, yeah, they're people.
Absolutely.
If they have like sentient thought, then I think they're people.
If they would want to be identified as people, then they should be
Then
considered people.
they may be allowed to be called people. And they show up there, and Rose is like, "Where the heck are we?" And they're and literally points to the sun, or not even points. Does he point? I don't know. He just look at the sun. It's about to explode, and then it does.
Look.
But it doesn't destroy the Earth quite yet. He explains that something called a national trust has preserved the Earth, and the National Trust is something run by very rich aliens, and that's who all is coming to this event, is a bunch of very, very rich aliens. The I don't know what you would call them, the Jeff Bezos of the alien of the alien
elite,
societies.
1% of the universe.
Yeah, of the universe. Gee, that has to be a very large number, 1% of the entire universe.
That would be really funny to imagine, like, Elon Musk showing up to one of these meetings and they're like, huh, you only have $45 quadrillion? Everybody laugh at the poor boy.
Laugh at him.
Point and laugh.
I guess you like what is the actual percentage? It's like the it is just the 1%, right? Like
it's referred to as the 1%. I don't know if it's actually 1%.
I think it'd be funny if like the rich people of the universe are like the 0.01%.
That's good. I like that.
But so apparently what's happening now is that they've been preserving the Earth from like the sun explosion, but the money has quote unquote run out, even though the sun is only exploding now, I guess. So I mean, unless the sun has been exploding for like years and years, only now are they letting it destroy the Earth. That seems a bit crazy to me, because didn't the sun just explode like right in front of like the Doctor and Rose? And then he was like, okay, and then for 30 minutes from now of the sun exploding, the Earth will die.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like that didn't make a little too much sense, but it's whatever. It's more of like a hand wavy, like big words explain why thing happened type sentence. We also got the first appearance of the psychic paper when the steward of the what is it called? The viewing deck, the witnessing deck. What do they call it? The observation deck.
I forget already.
The observation
deck.
There you go. He the guy who's like running it, who's the most in charge, I guess, of this place. As will be explained later, there's not really anyone in charge. He approaches the Doctor and Rose and is like, "What the heck are you two doing here? I don't know you." And then the Doctor pulls out his psychic paper and he's like, "Oh, we're guests. I'm the Doctor and this is my +1 Rose." The first
Clearly,
it's the first mention
Stupid.
of the psychic paper. It doesn't get referred to as psychic paper though. It's just paper that is slightly psychic, which I think is
that's right.
I think is extremely funny because spoilers, but psychic paper comes like a very like important tool in like later episodes, and in the Doctor's like canon. Really, it's like second to his sonic screwdriver. Is him pulling out the psychic paper and like having it work on people, and having it be described as slightly psychic is so funny, because I thought its whole thing was being extremely psychic. but it's just the paper that is slightly psychic, I guess, doesn't roll off the tongue as well as psychic paper.
Yeah.
So after that happens, a lot of other aliens start beginning to make appearances. The most significant being Jabe, who is like a tree woman, and she's there. I mean, they're all rich.
She
looks
is serving.
She is serving looks. She is slaying. And I think the other more prominent. I mean, I don't remember them all. It was like the tree lady, the blue guy, the face of Bo, and then the adherents of the repeated meme, which really threw me for a loop because I was like, meme? What
Was meme like regularly known by like its internet terminology, like the new use of the word? That wasn't really a thing yet, right? Or at least not like in the main lexicon.
I'm actually looking it up now.
Because I know it's like a scientific term originally.
Yeah, because it's just because it was basically a word that the Ninth Doctor describes himself like just the repeating of something.
That's true.
It's on Wikipedia. It says the term internet meme was coined by Mike Godwin in 1993. So,
okay.
I think like 12 years before this episode aired. I don't know if it was popularized by this point. When was that? I know the first meme was like the baby gift thing. You know that thing? Do you know that thing?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it says hard to pinpoint. It all seems to be alluding to like the late 90s is when like the first memes were starting. So I think it was probably a relatively new term, I think. So I don't think it's too out of like nowhere. If I was a regular adult in 2005, I think I probably would have accepted like the Ninth Doctor's explanation of like, oh yeah, meme just means the recurrence of something. And I'd be like, meme, that is a normal word. It does not evoke any sort of emotional reaction from me. Yes.
Yeah, that the internet has not tainted.
Yeah, absolutely horribly tainted forever and ever. Oh, and then of course, the most iconic guest of this ship is Cassandra, the last remaining human, or so she says. She's a big slab of skin and 2 eyes and a mouth, and boasts about how many surgeries she's had done. She just said she like opens the episode where she said she just got chin surgery to get rid of her chin, which makes me think at one point not too long ago she was just a slab of skin, eyes, mouth, and a chin.
And a chin.
And a chin. Unless she views like any semblance of like a lump on the below her mouth as a chin, like the slightest lump, which I would not put far behind her.
That's true.
She says she has a Texan dad and an Arctic mother. Both of those states are in America, and yet she has a British accent, which I think confused me a little bit, but whatever.
And did she grow up in Los Angeles?
She said that Mummy and Daddy brought her to Los Angeles.
Yeah, they built it to the side of the mountain of the cliffs,
which is a crazy place to go. I don't know how to explain this to like European listeners, if there are any, but like the not Antarctica. I'm assuming she means like does she mean Antarctica?
I think she said,
or like
I think she said the Arctic desert, didn't she?
The Arctic desert. I thought she meant Alaska for whatever reason.
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure what that would refer to as. Like, if an American said to me, "Oh yeah, the Arctic," I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm from the Arctic.
American Arctic.
Okay, so I think she meant the Antarctic. I for some reason I thought she meant Alaska, and I was like, she's from America. Why doesn't she have an American accent? But she doesn't even, at the Antarctic, no one lives there. She still shouldn't be British. Well, either way, it's crazy that someone from the Antarctic and someone from Texas would come together, have a kid, and then I guess move to Los Angeles, which is like miles and miles away from Texas. I mean, obviously from Antarctica, but if we're talking about the distance between California and Texas, it's like, I would say like a multiple day trip if you're just going by car, and then like a multiple hour flight if you're going by airplane. It's a very long way. So I don't know how she landed there. And so Cassandra shows up and she brings an ostrich egg, which she describes as having a 50-foot wingspan and fire breath. I think ostriches are now the new dragons of the year 5 billion. And
Again, very Futurama joke.
yeah, very Futurama-esque. And she also brings an iPod, which is really just a giant jukebox that you would find in like a diner. Do they have jukeboxes in Britain? I assume they don't have
The
all the things that you would find in an American diner.
the kind that you would play What's New
Yeah.
Pussycat on 11
Oh, of
times.
course. How could I be so foolish? Um, and then I think at this point when the party starts, oh yeah, they start playing Tainted Love as like a classical music choice, which is truly iconic. Uh, Everyone starts mingling. Rose is a bit off put. I think she's having the most normal reaction. By the way, the doctor thinks this is like a really cool thing to show her, and he's like, "Isn't this so cool, Rose?" And she's like, "I think I need a minute." And she like walks off, and he's like, "Oh, okay."
That was another one of the things I liked best about this episode was I liked how Rose's reactions to everything are very realistic. Like it'd probably be more realistic if she had a complete breakdown and went catatonic.
Yeah.
But I like that she's not just cool, like, wow, it's so cool. I like that she's like, oh my god, everything I know and love is gone.
Yeah, I think that would definitely leave me in a state of like, I need to like go home and lay in bed for a bit. You know,
it would be traumatizing.
like Jesus.
I need a minute to think about this.
I need a minute to think about this. And I guess not to spoil later seasons, I really like how normal she is because
yeah.
I think what happens is that the writers don't want to do like, you know, a carbon copy of like what they did with Rose, which is a human having a normal human reaction to things, as in like getting upset about like getting like viewing all this as opposed to being like, well, that was weird kind of reaction, which I feel like
he's right behind me.
yeah, I feel like a lot of companions in later seasons kind of had that reaction of like, that was crazy, what's going on, as opposed to Rose, who was like, this is genuinely upsetting and I need a minute. And like, and how in the previous episode she was like, you know, is my boyfriend dead? Is he dead? Like, do you even care that he's dead? And the doctor's like, oh, I forgot about that guy.
What do you care?
And I think that really contrasts like the differences between her and him very nicely. And I kind of missed that in later seasons, but I understand why they don't do it because it's like, I guess it can become tiring to see the same like upset reactions, but they're realistic reactions. I shake my fist. But anyway, I think so when Rose goes off to go look sadly out the window at the sun exploding, she meets a plumber who is another blue person on this ship. I don't really know how these blue people work. I sound like a racist grandpa right now. I don't know how these blue people operate. Some of them are adults, some of them are tiny children, and they're like put to work.
Me watching Avatar.
I don't fully understand what's going on. But she meets a plumber lady whose name is Raffalo, who I basically forgot by the time we finished the episode because it's only mentioned like once. I remembered it later when I was looking on the wiki, but she has a nice conversation with her, and what did they talk about? That she Bailey talks about how she's not really from here, and she kind of just hitched a ride with a stranger, and she's like, maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do, and she sort of and then Rose leaves while what's her name? Rathalos. No, not Rathalos. Not Rathalos. Raffalo. She goes to like oh, I probably should say it's the meme guys, the group of memes. They've been like handing people like gifts because that was like the etiquette. Yeah, I guess so. The etiquette of like giving gifts of all the guests giving gifts to each other, I guess. but the group of hooded meme figures, they're giving out these like metallic orbs which have these little metal spider thingies in them. And by the time we get to the scene with Rose talking with the plumber, these spider things are like, they're hitting the walls, they're in the walls, and they're crawling around, and then they, like, I think it's, like, implied that, like, they grab Raphalos, and Raphaelo, I keep adding an S because I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter recently.
I was gonna say that sounds very like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. I'm playing a lot of Monster Hunter, and there's a dragon in there called Rathalos. My bad. But Rathalos, she gets dragged away by these spider things. I don't know what they do with her, because that wasn't really... By the time we finish the episode, the goal of... spoilers, Cassandra, who is the villain of this episode, her goal was to like create a hostage scenario so she could get like hostage money or whatever. That was like her entire goal, right?
Yeah, it was just to make money, but because he says like, 5 billion years later, and it's all about money, Stu.
Stu. So I
it's
guess
on my most "Don't hug me, I'm scared" British accent.
Yeah, it's the most convoluted hostage plan, basically. And I don't know what killing the plumber lady had to do with any of that. I guess just to like increase the tension or severity of the situation. Because I think the whole goal of the spider things is that they're supposed to be like trying to take out the ship's defenses, right? I think.
Right.
So that way she could create a hostage scenario. I don't know what killing the plumber achieves.
Maybe it was like, she's seen us, so now we have to
she knows too much.
We gotta get rid of the witnesses.
Yeah, literally. I guess that's the only explanation I could think of. I don't know, the TARDIS gets towed away because there's like this whole thing where teleportation is allowed, which I guess is like a reason why everyone can't escape at the end, because teleportation is not allowed, so no one brought teleportation things. I think if these were like real rich corrupted people, because there's no way you could get that rich without being a little corrupted, they would totally cheat the system and bring teleportation things anyway. I think that's just how they would do.
That's true. That's a very good point.
So I think there's like some more mingling or whatever. There comes a scene where Rose is like sitting by herself in front of like another separated observation room where she's just looking at the sun or whatever. And the doctor comes in, like, ask her like if she's like enjoying herself, and she's like, not really. This is kind of really stressful for me. I don't like what I'm feeling right now.
This kind of blows.
And she was like, I don't know how she like asked him like how do they all know English? And then the doctor is like, oh, well, they're not. There's actually a telepathic field that you get from the TARDIS, and it lets you understand people, which is something I already knew about. It's a very common thing in like Doctor Who episodes to be like, how do I understand them? It's like, oh, the TARDIS translates it for you. Mm-hmm. But I think this is the most in-depth explanation I've heard in a while of like, it's a telepathic field that, like, you know, goes inside your mind and, like, affects your mind to where you can hear the translations of this. And I think Rose, I was very surprised by her reaction because I was so normalized by this because of Doctor Who episodes, because of how much, you know, it's just whisked away. But she's like, it makes her uncomfortable. And I think she's totally valid in thinking that, like, something is going inside her brain and changing her mind to, like, you know, do something that, even though it's, you know, somewhat beneficial, she never asked for that, and no one ever asked her if she wanted to do that. And I think...
Yeah, she never gave consent.
Yeah, I think she's rightly very upset by that, and the doctor's like, normally people don't react like this. And in my mind...
Normally no one ever questions me.
And I'm literally of the same mind frame as him, just like, yeah, people usually don't get this freaked out. Why is she getting freaked out? And then if I was like, you know what, it makes sense. I think if I had, like, some weird alien technology, like, affect my brain as well, that'd be a little weird. Like, she's having the most normal reaction right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, I wish more companions acted like this in later seasons. Especially when, like, it comes to, like, I think the 11th Doctor. I think they really forget about that kind of stuff at that point. I think, so they have, like, a little mini spat where she's like, I don't know anything about you. Why can't you tell me, like, who you are, where you're from? And he's like, it doesn't matter because you wouldn't even, like, know about it. It wouldn't change anything. I'm here now. And she's like, okay, well, you kind of know everything about me at this point. Why can't I know anything about you? And he's like, it doesn't matter. And he storms off. But he kind of...
Stop fighting!
Stop fighting! And he kind of storms off in, like 5 feet away. And Rose feels bad. I don't think she should feel bad, but she is of the opinion that she shouldn't make her designated driver angry or get in a fight with him. As she says, I think not, the doctor, he realizes that he's like upset her also, and does something nice for her, because she's like, I don't get signal obviously on my phone, and he hacks her phone or something. He takes the battery out, I think, and just sonic screwdrivers it and then puts it back, and then suddenly she can call her mom. I will say this is not the last time he will be doing this to a companion's phone.
Oh, okay.
And I say this only because I've never understood how it works that the phone can tell exactly the perfect time the companion wants to call someone, even no matter what time period they're in. I think it's so funny, because what logic do you have to go on? How does the phone know you're okay with calling your mom a day after you left your time, as opposed to 20 years later in the future you call your mom? I've never understood that, and why does it never get explained?
It just senses the vibe.
It just knows the vibe. It knows the aura. I hate that word. I hate that.
Good, I know to bring it up constantly now.
Oh my gosh, I don't never want to say that again. I am not a Zodiac girly, unfortunately. Not even unfortunately. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be mean.
I didn't even think of it because of a Zodiac thing. I was just thinking big aura. It's called aura, bro. I feel like it's become a bro term.
Really?
Now, through the meme
it feels
of it. Oh, you haven't seen it?
I feel like it's such a TikTok girly term. The same girlies who are like, oh my god, here's your aura, I could totally read it from here, and I'm gonna telepathically tell you what you should do with your life. And I'm just like, okay. Okay.
That's what it was, but it's kind of transformed now.
Dude, your aura is way off.
Yeah, who are some characters in fiction that have aura? It means like charisma or being cool, I guess.
Like dude bros, the toxic to women dude bros.
Marvel characters with strong aura and stuff like that.
No, I super don't like that word now. Let's move on from this.
So I didn't mean to make it worse.
I hate it here. In my notes I just put, how does phone work? Question mark. But after that, they think they go back to the regular floor, and then they start realizing that something's happening to the ship. There's a gravitational bump or something, and the doctor's like, well, that wasn't a gravitational bump. I'm gonna go figure out what it is. And then Jabe, the tree lady, is like, I'll come with you. That's not what she sounds like.
Because I like you.
She's like, I'll come with you, doctor, after you breathed on me earlier.
So intimate.
So intimate, doctor. I bet you do that to all the girls. And he does.
That's true. We see it in action.
Yeah, not 5 minutes later he breathed on someone. So they go off together to go figure out what the problem is, while Rose decides to hang out on the floor and is like, I think she makes a little joke, have him home by midnight type stuff. So Jabe and the doctor walk around. She sort of explains how the ship works to him. Everything on the ship is set up automatically. Everything's on autopilot. So even though there's a steward to run things, he's not any sort of engineer or mechanic that knows how the ship works. He seems to be more of a hospitality type guy. Speaking of the steward, I think at this point he dies.
Mm-hmm. And with the robot spider just pressing the self-destruct button
is
on the keyboard, which for anyone who didn't watch our commentary cracked us up.
It was so stupid. The scene is hilarious because the spider just comes in and he's like, there seems to be a metallic something running around interfering. I don't know what it looks like though. And he sees it and he's like, oh, I think that's what it looks like. And he looks at it for 30 seconds, and the spider looks back at him and he's like, oh, hey guy. And he's like, do you mind if I just and he looks at the button, and the spider's like, I'm gonna press this button now. And then he presses it not even in a quick fashion, just so gingerly presses it.
Presses it with my gay little spider
With my
hand.
little spider mitten. And this guy just watches him press it, like, knowing that's the button to, like, lower the sun shield or whatever. And it just lets him do it. And for such a technologically advanced ship that is, like, 5 billion years into the future, once you press that button, there's apparently no fail-safe, no cancel switch, no, like, emergency.
No going
Like,
back.
imagine if it was on like a keyboard, like a ASDF keyboard. Like, can you imagine your hand grazing that button and you're like, oh crap, oh I didn't mean to press that, ah! And then Ash baby, ah!
Ash
Ash
baby.
baby. Anyway, I thought it was a really goofy scene. Unfortunate that he died, but goofy nonetheless.
He's low-key the true villain of this episode. Like, he kind of
Yeah,
deserved it, honestly.
he let this happen.
He did.
He could have.
You let everyone here die.
At least, listen, all he needed was like a rolled up newspaper. He could have squashed that thing.
That would probably happen to me because of how scared of spiders I am.
By the time you called me in the room to like take care of it, he's already pressed the sun shield remover, and there's no failsafe button, and we both just die.
4 planets have already been destroyed.
At this rate. So I think that guy dies like off screen. Like no one sees him die. He just gets locked into this sunroom basically. What else? So this is when like we get the scene of like Rose talking to like Cassandra, and where we find out that she lived in Los Angeles. We also get a little thing. I wasn't sure how to talk about this. When she's describing her childhood, she describes it as like, when I was a little boy, I did this. And
Right.
I do believe that's meant to, you know, hint. I believe it's just meant to say like Cassandra is like a transgender woman, which is interesting, I guess. It's unfortunate that the first trans character of the Doctor Who series is a villain, but I do love seeing trans women slaying.
That's true, she does slay hardcore.
She slays effervescently, and I can't help but respect her for that. I also think it's like, I don't think it's meant to be a joke, because there's no one laughs when she says that, you know, and she says it very offhandedly. It's not really the focus of what she's saying, which the focus is like, you know, who she, like, not who she is, because that is who she is, but, like, her past and, like, how arbitrary, but, how shallow she is, I think, because she just talks about, like, all this, like, human stuff like it's nothing. This is when she brings up, like, how because she's the less pure human, because all the other humans mingled at her words, and they're no longer pure human, which I think, as we said before, feels very eugenic talk to me.
Very much
I
so.
don't think I like that our first trans character is like pro eugenics or whatever. She's like, we need the pure race, the human race.
Trans rights, but only for me.
Only for I. But I don't remember if there's any. I know there are more trans characters in Doctor Who, but I don't think they're coming anytime soon. I think this is going to be the first trans character we have for a while. Definitely not the first gay or LGBT character, because did we have a gay character in the last episode? No, we just mentioned.
We had a mention of, they mentioned a gay celeb, like, oh, he's gay and she's an alien.
The scandal. But I think we will have like more LGBT stuff like soon, but I don't think we're gonna have another trans woman again for a while, which is
That's
the unfortunate factor of it all. You know, pros and cons. It's 2005. I think for 2005, it's not horrible. Okay, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. She is the main villain and is like bloodthirsty.
And looks like
and
a freak.
is considered a good thing when she dies.
Yeah.
So, you know, not the best. I appreciate that it was very offhandedly mentioned. It wasn't too crazy of a thing. As, like, the crazy thing about her is that she's a piece of skin. It's not that she's transgender.
Yeah, like, it's such, like, a normal casual fact about
Yeah,
her.
so pros and cons, more cons than pros, but we live on. We power through. Uh but yeah, she talks about how like Rose could do with like a surgery, and Rose is like, I think I'd rather die. I think I would rather kill myself. She doesn't say she'd kill herself, but she's like, I'd rather die than do that. And Cassandra's like, whatever, girl, and leaves.
We get mention of Rose's dad, I believe, for the
That's
first time.
true. She's like, I'm human. Me and my mom and dad are human. And
Mm.
I'm actually curious. Like, do you have like any ideas or like thoughts about like who Rose's dad might be, or like what his deal might be if he has one at
Uh,
all?
I mean, I'm guessing, knowing TV, that he's either dead or that he, like, walked out on them in some way, and it's very dramatic, like a Treasure Planet, and maybe the doctor will take her to go and find him somewhere. Maybe she thinks that he walked out on them, but actually he accidentally time traveled
Oh,
30,000 years into the future and is on
oh my
Mars.
god.
And, and the doctor will take her and she'll be like, Daddy!
Oh my god, you're the king of Mars, Daddy. That would be that would be interesting. Maybe we'll get an episode like that. Maybe we'll get Mr. What's her name? Rose Tyler, Mr.
Tyler.
Tyler, King of Mars, Lord Tyler.
That'll be, if that's not what happens, that'll be my new companion OC's lore.
is having his the dad, the King of Mars. I mean, like, I've shown you Waters of Mars. You know what happens to Mars, at least in the
Oh
close
yeah.
future, I should say, because that episode takes place in like 2050 or whatever. But who knows about the far future? Uh, but anyway, yeah, I think it's interesting. That's his first drop. I guess we'll see what happens in later episodes. If this is just a part of a tragic backstory, or maybe he's just the most normal person. I don't know.
He just works at like I was about to say a shop, right? But anyone that's not from the northern US doesn't know what that is. He works at a supermarket as a cashier, and he comes home and he's like, "Hi, honey, what's for
Or
dinner?"
like Rose's parents just had the most normal divorce, and she's just at her mom's house this week, or something.
That, or they're like really embarrassingly like they kiss and have PDA all the time, but she's like, "I want to kill myself."
But I think we also get the first mention. I don't remember which scene this is, but we get the first like mention of like a Time Lord. Like we get. I think,
That's
is it
right.
like Jabe who refers to him?
It was, yeah, it was Jabe who said it. Like, "Oh, you're a
You're the
Time
Time
Lord."
Lord, and he has like a single tear as he thinks about what happened to his planet. Uh, and I think that's a very interesting way of like slowly introducing the audience, if they're like a new audience, to like the concept of like a Time Lord and all that stuff. I don't think his planet got named. Do you know? Do you
I
know
don't
the
think it
name
did.
of the Doctor's planet?
Not off the top of my head. Like, if you said it, I would be like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah." Or
old
like,
girl.
if you gave me like 3 planets, I would probably be able to pick it out, but not off the
Okay,
top of my
yeah, because it
head.
does have a name. There's one instance of like he and the tree lady, like they go down, do stuff, and then they come back, and then they go down again, right? Like, why do they come back again? I don't even remember.
That I do not remember, because I just remember thinking, like, man, does this part of the episode look like a level in a PS2 game?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, there's, I think there's like a whole video essay I watched like a while back about how like, why doesn't Doctor Who have a video game? I think if it did have like an actual, like, honest to God video game, like this should definitely be one of the levels, is like dodging the fans.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't remember what the transition is between like the second outing with the Doctor and the Tree Lady, but at some point they realize what's happening, and like these spiders, they're everywhere. We got to stop them. Um, and what is it? Oh yeah, the sun shields are starting to go down. Like Rose gets trapped in like a room with like a whole sun shield, and she's about to get roasted. And the Doctor tries to help her. Uh, but only is able to like pause it for a while, and he's like, I gotta go figure it out, and so he leaves, and they go to this big fan room, and the Doctor's like, of course, at the end of the bridge the failsafe is past the fans, so he has to do this like whole timing uh situation, as if in a video game where he has to get past the fans, but the only way to do that is to hold a lever down to slow the fans down enough to walk past them. And so Jabe, being the only one there, is like, you go, doctor, I'll hold down this lever. And the doctor's like, it's too hot in here, it'll kill you. And she's like, I don't care, do it, you'll save us. And then he's like, okay, I'll try. And then he goes through the fans. And unfortunately, she does start burning. And I think we see her catch on fire, but she mostly dies off screen, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But she does
Yes.
burn up, unfortunately. Rip to a real one. She slayed for real. She had a really good dress. I think she had a nice color palette. Compliment whoever art directed this.
She did.
Whoever did the art direction, very good. Whoever did the art direction, I could probably just look it up. There's credits to this show. So she burns before she can like hold the lever for the last fan. And there's this like moment where the doctor's like, how am I gonna get past this fan? And he like closes his eyes and then, I don't know, uses the power of believing in himself.
The power of love and friendship.
The power of thinking about Rose slow motion breathing and about to die. And he's like, I gotta do this for her, and like walks through the fan. I have no idea what just happened. But he's able to shut, or I guess turn the sun shields back on, but not before the sun basically vaporizes a good portion of people. Including the little blue guy who I thought was very charming. He reminded me of like a Star Wars character. And he seemed very concerned throughout the whole episode of like the safety of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So very unfortunate he had to go. And a bunch of other blue people, of the employees of the ship, I should say. So when the doctor comes back, he is like real mad, you know, so many people have died, and he needs to find the perpetrator. So he puts one of the spider robots on the ground and lets it like go towards its master, quote unquote. And it goes up to Cassandra for a second, before like diverting and going up to, what were they called again? The adherents of the repeated meme.
It's something with meme in it. I know that much for sure.
It's a mouthful. The ARM, I should just say, the arm. And it goes up to them, but the doctor is like, yeah, but this is sort of like a trick because in the name, you know, meme just means like the repeating of something, and so it's just like they don't exist. They're not real. They're just like
an idea. He said they're an idea.
An idea. Yeah, they're just like carrying out the orders of like something else. So he's like, so who's the true mastermind? And it's like the most obvious choice. It goes up to Cassandra, the person we've like meant to hate for the whole episode. I think that's also a contributing factor to why this isn't good trans rep, because we're supposed to hate her. We're like,
yeah, no, it definitely isn't.
Yeah, not that trans women can't be villains, but it's weird if the only trans woman is a villain. But the robots go up to her, and she's like, all right, you've caught me, but I will be spraying you with acid if you come any closer to me. Oh yeah, there's a very iconic line from the doctor. It's like, what are you gonna do, moisturize me? Which is very much quoted amongst the fandom. But she's like, yep, it's me. I was behind all of this. This is a very extremely convoluted fake hostage plan where I would pretend to be a victim, and then they would give us money, and then I would use that money to pay for more surgeries. Haha.
This was all a trick. I deceived you.
Yeah, I feel, in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of weak sauce motivation for like a villain, like, because it's such a convoluted plan. Like, I don't know, why didn't you just threaten people to give you money? You didn't really have to make a hostage situation out of it.
Yeah, she could have hired like a team of people to come and threaten them and steal their money and then give it to her.
Yeah, you could have just like done a robbery. You could just rob them. You didn't have to hostage negotiate them. I mean, you're rich, you can do anything. She teleports out of there. The doctor's able to stop the sun shield thing. Is that when he goes off to go do the fan thing? Is that he confronts Cassandra, goes to do the fan thing, the tree lady dies, and then he comes back? I think that's what happened.
Is it? I thought the tree lady dying was
Oh,
first.
I don't remember.
I could be wrong, though.
Me and my horrible memory. But I do remember when, after the Doctor saves everyone, he like is like, we need to, get Cassandra back here. So he's like, if you're as clever as me, you can figure out that if you find the teleportation thing, which is over here inside the ostrich egg, which is true, because it needs like a homing beacon or something. Sci-fi words, I don't know. But he's like, if you can find the original thing, if you're as clever as I am, you can reverse it. And then he just turns a dial, and it's like, I don't think you needed to be particularly smart to do that, but whatever.
Always gotta brag.
Yeah, just a little bit of a bragger, this guy. But he's able to like make Cassandra return, and she's like, "Oh, you've got me now. You get to be a part of my human club." Like try to weasel her way out. And the Doctor is like, "We've got you now." And I don't know what I don't remember what she says. I just remember she just starts drying up.
Yeah, she starts creaking, and he's like, "You're creaking because you're drying up." And she's like, "No, where are my moisturizers?
Moisturize me! You're creaking, girlie.
Moisturize me! I'm melting! I'm melting!"
And then
what a world! What a world!
And it's like, for being so far in the future, you would think she would have like an automatic like moisturizing spray thing and not have to have like two guys do it for her. But I guess maybe that's like the appeal. It's like the equivalent of like having someone fan you, like you're like royalty.
Yeah, I get to boss someone around.
I guess that could be like parallels to like, that's why their like little moisturizing things were so long. It could like resemble those like long fans like royalty have. Okay, all right, maybe this is clever. Maybe this is good writing. But yeah, she like, because she gets so dried out, she in some of like
explodes.
Yeah, some of like the grossest effects. She just explodes into like a explosion of flesh. It's so gross. I hate it. Cause not only does that happen, she like her eyes go like blood red and like her veins start like protruding and she just like, who did the effects for that? Alright, who did that? Who put my eyes against
Who's
the screen?
responsible for this?
I want to talk. I just want to talk. The only like survivor I could name is like the face of Bo. He's an interesting guy. We'll talk about him later. But and then some like other aliens. I don't know. They had like these bug faces. They were kind of upset. The two other tree people Jabe came with.
That's true.
They were sad, and the Doctor like comforted them a little bit. I don't know. I think the Doctor and Rose, they like have a little talk afterwards. Does the phone thing happen? No, that happened earlier. So she doesn't.
Yeah, the phone thing was like halfway through the episode, but then at the end of the episode, they go back to Britain.
Yeah, because she gets like upset. She's like, contemplating and having like an existential crisis basically. And the Doctor's like, "Oh, come with me," and then they go back to like modern London or whatever. But she's like, "I don't know how to like cope with this," and he's like, "Well, this is when he starts trauma dumping."
Yeah, I didn't expect his backstory to start like coming up as soon as it did.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting what he is and isn't talking about at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some things he's not mentioning, which I shan't say. I keep saying that. I shan't say. But I think he tells her, like, all, she really wants to know is that he comes from another planet that has been destroyed at this point. It was destroyed by a war, and it was, in his opinion, taken too soon, as opposed to, like, being destroyed, I guess, naturally, as the Earth did. I assume that's about as naturally as you could destroy a planet, is the sun exploding.
So.
It's not like anyone, I mean, what do we know? Did anyone contribute to the speed at which the sun exploded? I don't know if you can do that, but who knows what people in the future do? Well, they didn't because the corporation or whatever prevented it, right?
I guess so, yeah.
They like held it or whatever just for the spectacle of like watching the Earth explode. Oh yeah, the scene was that like Rose was upset that like they were so busy trying to save the ship that they didn't even watch, the Earth die, which is really sad.
Yeah.
That such a moment in history and no one was there to see it. Uh, but I think that's kind of just the nature of humanity, really, is that sometimes you just miss out on
Mm-hmm.
things, and that's just how it is. But that's okay because a lot of times people can tell you about their experiences, and that is also a part of the human experience, is talking about things with people. I'm being so deep right now.
I'm having a great time at this TED Talk.
Yeah, I should have a philosophy class. I'm sure if I like had like an actual like as a poised as opposed to like a bullet point script, which I have, maybe if I had typed this out like an actual essay, I could probably say something more meaningful, but that's all I got.
Take it
uh,
or leave it.
Take it or leave it. You can, if you don't like it, get out of here. But the Doctor and Rose, they go for chips. They go for chips, which is,
Do you smell chips?
yeah, you smell chips. I love chips. Which is just French fries. They're just going for French fries, which,
For us Americans.
yeah, for us, like, for the people who are right in this world, those
Yeah,
are called
for us
French
normal
fries.
people.
Yeah. Which I always think is funny. Like, I don't think in America we ever say, like, do you want to go get some fries? We usually say, like, you want to go get, like, a burger or something. And
Yeah, like
then,
fries is a side.
yeah, the fries come with the burger. It's, like, understood that that happens. I don't think we ever go, like, do you just want, like, a side dish of fries? Which I think is what chips are. It's just, like, a little
Yeah.
tiny thing of fries.
Like, I guess unless you're getting, like...
I mean,
I
like,
don't know,
I guess
like...
they say fish and chips a lot of the
Yeah, but I
time.
guess if you're getting, like, a crazy topping on it, then I'd understand getting it by itself.
Yeah. I mean, we do. I mean, us here in America, when we talk about actual chips, we do say, "Do
Yeah,
you want to go get some
potato
chips?"
chips.
Yeah. Do you want to go get like a bag of chips or something? Which is like, I think they're called. I think the British people call them crisps or
Yes, they
something.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately.
You want to get a bag of crisps? Uh, but
Oh, that 'cause they're crispy.
oh, they're crispy. uh, but yeah, they go get some chips, and I think that's just the end of the episode. That I think I said, like, how surprised I was how you know e- maybe not easy, because she kind of spent the whole episode contemplating all of this, but when she arrives back on Earth, she sort of is just like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna have some chips and I think I'll be good and we can continue adventuring. And I think we both were like, I think we would like need a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I
I would
need
need to
to,
get in bed for a week.
yeah, I just need to lay down and contemplate my thoughts for a hot second before I went on another adventure with the Doctor. But yeah, other than that, Haley, do you have any other thoughts on the episode?
Let's see. Let me check my notes. I think I covered most of everything in our. Oh, I will say I liked the another one. One of my favorite parts was the her talking with her mom. I just thought was a really sweet moment. Since I feel it'll come up, I would like to mention that I am very close with my mom, as Julia knows. So the easiest way to make me like a character is to have them be very close with their mom, especially like having a big tough guy dude character who's a mama's boy. That's like one of my favorite tropes in the world.
Aw.
Which I bring up now because this is such a long running show. I wouldn't be surprised if that ever comes up, and I will go absolutely cuckoo crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over it.
Oh, I'm
So, yeah,
thinking
so
now, is there a character like that? I'd have to like think about it for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
There
But
probably is. I'm trying to think if it's like a companion or if it's just like a side character, but I'm sure there is.
there's got to be someone.
Yeah, there's gotta be a mama's boy around here.
Bring me the mama's boy.
I was actually very excited for you to like see Rose and her mom's like dynamic, because it low-key reminds me of like you and your mom a bit. In like in a positive way. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Rose is a bit U-core.
That's why we're on the cover art
in some ways.
for now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah. And I'm excited to like, explore, more of like their dynamic, cuz I think it'd be crazy if that was like the last we saw of her mom.
Her mom just dies.
Yeah, we just never see her again.
I'm also excited to see more of the dynamic, and it made me because I remember I said I was a little bit unsure if I liked the mom in the first episode because like with the hitting on the doctor thing, I just thought it was weird. But this makes me like her character a little bit more, and I'm very interested to see where this all goes.
Yeah, she's very charming. I like her. I like Jackie. I like
That's
her.
her name. I forgot.
Yeah, Jackie. Well, other than that, I could probably read some trivia points, and then that'll probably be the end of the episode. I will say that like I don't have as much trivia from the IMDb. IMP. I do. Pee 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 poo poo stinky. I don't have as much trivia from the IMDb page as I did for the first episode. There was like there was like 10 total, I think, and then like only like 5 worth talking about. I think like one of them was like a major spoiler that I like can't even say until like season 3 or 4.
Oh damn.
Like it'll come up eventually, but it's gonna be a while.
It'll be a little bit.
It's gonna be a hot minute. And then I think like 1 or 2 of them we've already talked about. But one of the trivias is that like the majority of the first season or this it says the series, but I think they mean like the first season.
I think that's British terminology.
Yeah. The majority of the first season's effects budget were used up for this episode. And I think it really shows.
I was gonna say, actually, it's so sad that they used so many, like, thousands and thousands of dollars, probably, on characters that get 2 minutes of screen time and then die.
Yeah. and then that, and also, like, the amount of, like, lights that I feel like they could have fixed with, like, maybe some, like, practical lighting. Like, I don't think they needed to do, like, a light filter, which I know filters were very popular in the early 2000s, but come on, guys. It also says a sequence in which the viewing gallery tilted on its axis and had to be dropped due to the expensive budget.
Oh wow!
I don't know what that's supposed to mean though. And for this episode, it says there were a number of deleted scenes that were printed in the shooting scripts, which included a more brutal death for Raffalo, the plumber. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Like, does she get like clawed out or something? Scary. Extended conversation between the Doctor and Jabe. I feel like they already had extended conversations, so I think they were maybe right about that. Like, they already talked a lot in the episode. And then extended conversation with Rose and Cassandra, and then a second scene in which Rose contacts Jackie as the sun rays begin to pierce through the viewing gallery. I gotta say, that would have been brutal.
Yeah, it would have.
That would have been heart-wrenching if Rose was like, "Hey, Mom, I think I'm gonna die." That would be.
Oh my god, that would have killed me. I would have started crying. That would have
been so sad. I think I would have really remembered that if that happened. And I don't know. I feel like that could have been very moving, but maybe a bit much for like episode 2 of season 1. If you know what I mean.
That's true. Yeah.
Like very extremely heavy for. We just got here, okay? This is my first planet. This is my first alien spaceship. There's also a trivia point that says when Jay brings up the subject of what happened to the Doctor's planet, the Doctor is seen discreetly shedding a single tear is apparently the only time the Ninth Doctor is shown to visibly cry on screen, which
oh wow,
I think is interesting because the Doctor does cry, you know, in like, you know, future episodes and stuff. I think it's very moving that the subject of his home planet dying is what moves him to tears, and
yeah,
it's in such a subtle way that he doesn't even want to dwell on it. And like, you know how like some people go like, you know, I used to think this, where if you say to someone that you love them too much that it won't mean anything. Like if someone cries too much, then them crying doesn't mean anything. I don't think that's true, and that might be the mind frame the writers were working with, where like if they only show the Ninth Doctor crying in this very moment, that means you know it's important.
Yeah.
But I think the Doctor should be comfortable to cry whenever he wants. Which I think he does become more comfortable with it later. But maybe that's just how the Ninth Doctor is, and that he's just not he's not comfy with that. But that's okay too. But we gotta work on that in therapy. Okay, so this is the last trivia point to talk about, because the other trivia point was the Cassandra seems to be implied as transgender, and I don't know if that's a trivia point. It seems very obvious.
Yeah, I would agree.
But the last trivia point is that Russell T Davies has said on many occasions that he was inspired to create Cassandra upon viewing skinny Hollywood actresses at the Academy Awards on the on the 2nd of on 2 April 2006, which is the British way to date things. We here in America, we go April 2nd, 2006. But the Sunday Mirror quoted Davies, "It was horrific seeing these beautiful women reduced to sticks. Nicole Kidman struck me in particular. Nicole is one of the most beautiful people in the world, but she looks horrifying because she's so thin. It's like we're killing these women in public. We watch while you die." Which is so brutal to, like, name drop someone. Yeah. Nicole Kidman, what the hell? I think he has a point. I feel like maybe it's not his place. Is that really I don't know if that's how I should say it, but because I want to talk about, I want to handle this delicately. I think women should be able to do, anyone, not even just women, should do whatever, they should have the right to do whatever they want to their body. But I do understand that we have, in modern times, beauty standards that make people, and especially women, feel like they have to do things like make themselves ultra skinny and like ultra smooth. I definitely think that when I was watching this episode, the things Cassandra said is like stuff that like teenagers on TikTok talk about.
Very much so.
Yeah, like, I need to smooth everything out, I can't, look older. I have to like everyone has this fear of like getting older, and it's very sad to see like 13-year-olds in this day and age. Like, it's been like this since like modern media and since like modern celebrities like were on like the covers of magazines and stuff. But I feel like it's really accelerated in like the past few years with TikTok, like, because you get like these hack treatments basically of like getting beauty fast, and they're being advertised to 12-year-olds, and you just get all this information so quickly, and you do all these things to yourself, and it's very unfortunate, the things we do just to meet a standard. I don't think we should be calling out specific women. Yeah. And being like, God, she was so skinny, it was horrifying.
What the hell?
What is wrong with you? I'm going to write a transgender skin monster and to talk about how evil this is. I think maybe Russell T Davies was a little out of line for that. I don't think he should have said that.
A little bold.
Very bold of him. I understand the point he's trying to make. It feels like a very 2005 attitude also, I will say. I think, it's been 20 years now. I'm sure I'm not sure, actually. I hope he has a different view on it. I think it's completely okay to be a bit upset by like all the beauty standards we have today, but I don't know. It also kind of I will say the way he talks about this, it kind of is like, oh, you know what, this kind of makes sense. I feel like Cassandra is like very written by a man core.
Yeah, very much so.
If that makes sense at all. But yeah, well, that was my little trivia thing. We watch while you die, so... God, why are you... Whoa, Russell T Davies, you can't say that. Yeah, I guess he can say it. He did.
He did. It's too late.
Yeah, too late. It's 20 years ago. Too late. 20 years too late.
That is crazy to think about, that this was all 20 years ago. Holy crap.
Oh my goodness, I hate it here. I hate the passage of time. I feel so old.
Is it time for us to give our ratings for the episode?
Oh yeah, our ratings. Okay, tell me, Hailey, what is your number for this episode?
I would give this episode 7.5 darkly hooded memes.
Oh my God, how am I supposed to come up with something funnier than that? Let me think.
You could also give it an amount of darkly hooded memes.
I gotta do something original. I think I will give this a solid 7 metallic spiders slowly pressing the control button on your keyboard out of out of 10. I think this was a pretty solid episode.
Definitely.
I think there was I think the parts with the Doctor and Jade were a little slow paced, but nothing that was
they went on a little long.
Nothing that was too distracting. I think by the time I was like, this is going on a little long, 5 seconds later the scene was over, and I was like, okay, finally. The whole scene of the Doctor I'm just gonna believe in myself. I thought that lasted a bit long, because I had no idea what he was doing. To this day, I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed that episode, Hailey. I hope you're excited for the next one. It seems like there's going to be some Charles Dickens involved.
The next one looks insane, and I can't wait for it. I'm glad too. I just thought of this that we were so in the future, and now we're gonna go in the past. I like the balance.
Yeah, I hope we I don't remember what order all the episodes are in. I do hope we go a bit back and forth. But if not, I know a lot of Doctor Who episodes go to the past, because that's kind of just the easiest to keep to the canon, I guess, as opposed to go to the future where you have to make everything up. Well, I hope everyone, you enjoyed that episode. We enjoyed watching it and recording it and talking about it, and I hope you will join us next time, where we will watch I guess Ghosts or something.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Charles Dickens time, baby.
Hell yeah. What stories did he write? Christmas stories?
Christmas Carol was definitely Charles Dickens.
We're gonna give him inspiration for that. It's gonna be all the Ninth Doctor's idea, and that's how the episode's gonna go. We'll see ya next time.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thank you for listening to our show. This is created by me, Julia, and Hailey Dorritie. The cover arts and thumbnails were illustrated by the two of us and edited by me. Episodes edited by me and social media is run by Hailey. Theme song and other sound effects are by hack.cool. You can find us on Instagram at me&dw, on Twitter at me&dw, and on TikTok at me&dr Who. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Thank you again for listening. Bye!